Wukong somersaulted back to Huaguo Mountain, shouting, "Children, I'm back!" Thousands of monkeys rushed out to greet him, but their joy was mixed with sorrow. It turned out that a demon calling himself the Demon King had come to the mountain, bullying the elder monkeys and even kidnapping some. Wukong, enraged, exclaimed, "Who dares harm my children?" Flew straight to the Demon King's lair, plucked a handful of hair, chewed it up, and spat it out. Instantly, hundreds of little monkeys appeared and charged at the Demon King in his den. Some grabbed, others pulled, twisted legs, or poked eyes. No one could defend against them. In the chaos, Wukong seized the Demon King's sword and, with a swift strike to the head, split him in half. Upon returning to the water curtain cave, the monkeys welcomed Wukong with great excitement. Wukong shared his journey and experiences with his monkey clan. When they learned that their king now had a name, Sun Wukong, they erupted in joy, clapping and cheering. "The king is old Sun, we are second Sun, third Sun, we're all one big Sun family." Laughter filled the cave, echoing from every corner. However, the encounter with the Demon King made Wukong realize the need for vigilance. The very next day, he began training his monkeys in combat, using wood as weapons and practicing their moves. But there was a problem. Sooner or later, this would attract attention from other beasts or enemies, and with mere wooden weapons, how could they defend themselves? Wukong leapt into the country of Aulai, determined to use his powers to get weapons. He puffed up his cheeks and blew, summoning a fierce wind. In the chaos, he snuck into the armory, chewed on a hair, and turned it into 1,000 monkeys who emptied the place. This stirred up all the demon kings around Huaguo Mountain. Seeing Wukong mass monkeys so well armed, they figured there was no point in fighting and instead came to Water Curtain Cave, pledging allegiance to him. However, there was still a problem. Wukong, the Great King, had no suitable weapon. For elder monkeys came forward and said, "Great King, the water under the Iron Bridge leads to the Dragon Palace in the Eastern Sea. Why not ask the Dragon King for a weapon?" Hearing this, Wukong wasted no time and jumped into the sea. The Dragon King of the East Sea, cautious but curious about this visitor, personally came out with his dragon sons and grandchildren to greet Wukong, respectfully calling him immortal. As they walked, the Dragon King subtly probed about Wukong's background and abilities. Wukong didn't bother with pleasantries and got straight to the point. "I'm here for a weapon." The Dragon King, unable to refuse, first offered a large sword. But Wukong said, "No, I don't use swords." Then a 9-pronged fork to light. Even 7,200 yin was still to light for Wukong. At that moment, a dragon whispered to the Dragon King, "Your Majesty, this monkey might be extraordinary. The magical iron pillar we used to measure the river's depth has been glowing lately. Could it be waiting for him?" The Dragon King hesitated. "That's just an old iron rod we used during the flood. It's hardly a weapon." Still, he decided, fine, let's just give it to him and be done with it. Surprisingly, the iron pillar turned out to be exactly what Wukong wanted. Wukong stood before the iron pillar and said, "This thing's too big and long. I wish it were smaller." As soon as he spoke, the magical iron shrank and thinned. He exclaimed in delight, noticing the words Rui Jingguobang inscribed on it, weighing 13,500 jing. This is it. Wukong wasn't satisfied with just the Rui Jingguobang. He thought, "This stick is too cool for my ragged clothes." So he asked Dragon King for an outfit too. But the problem was, Dragon King didn't have anything ready to give. Wukong got impatient and threatened, "If you've got nothing, I'll just test this staff on you." Scared, Dragon King quickly called his brothers from the other seas for help. They came rushing in, furious about the situation. But the East Sea Dragon King warned, "We can't fight him. That staff could kill us instantly." So, they reluctantly gave Wukong a golden crown, armor, and cloud-threaded robe to avoid trouble. Wukong, satisfied, didn't even say thanks and left with his treasures. Back at the Water Curtain Cave, Wukong couldn't resist showing off the golden staff to the other monkeys. Big, big, big! It grew as tall as a mountain. Small, 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 small. It shrank to the size of a needle and could even be tucked into his ear. Now that the Water Curtain Cave was fully armed, Wukong felt free to roam the world and befriend heroes. Over the years, he formed a brotherhood with several demon kings, including the Bull Demon King and the Lion Camel King. "Come, brothers, let's gather at Huaguo Mountain and drink." And one day, after hosting a feast for his brothers, Wukong fell into a deep sleep. In a hazy dream, he saw two figures holding a note with Sun Wukong written on it. They approached, grabbed his soul, and in a few steps, they arrived at a city with the words Yomingjia on the gate. Wukong groggily opened his eyes and thought, "Isn't this Yama's place? I'm beyond the three realms and not bound by the five elements." Furious, he pulled out his golden staff and smashed the two soul collectors into paste. Still not satisfied, he declared, "Let's go teach Yama a lesson." Wukong charged into the city, swinging his staff. Yama, terrified, shouted, "Great Immortal, there are too many with the same name. It must be a mistake." Wukong wouldn't listen to his explanation and demanded the death register. Yama reluctantly brought it out. Wukong found his name at number 1350. Sun Wukong, born from stone, lived 342 years, died peacefully. After reading it, Wukong mumbled, "What is this? I don't even remember how old I am." He grabbed a pen and crossed out his name, along with the names of the other monkeys. Once he finished, he swung his staff and charged out of the underworld. Wukong's commotion caused chaos in heaven, leading to reports from the Dragon King and Yama, prompting the Jade Emperor to send someone to capture him. At that moment, the Star of Venus suggested to the Jade Emperor, rather than resorting to conflict, we should offer him a position. If he accepts his fate, we can reward him. If he defies it, we can capture him without causing a stir. Upon hearing this, the Jade Emperor agreed and sent the White Jade Star to summon Wukong. Naturally, Wukong was eager to visit heaven. However, he didn't realize that there weren't many positions available, and he was only assigned as the stable keeper. Thus, the Jade Emperor decreed that Sun Wukong would serve as the protector of the horses, called Bima Wen. Wukong didn't understand the nature of his position and thought it was prestigious. He enjoyed himself for half a month, drinking with his subordinates. One day, he casually asked about his role as protector of the horses, only to be told it had no rank. Confused, he assumed it must be extremely high, but his subordinate clarified that it was actually quite lowly. Wukong got anxious. The great sage, reign as king in Huaguo Mountain. How dare the Jade Emperor trick me into tending horses? I'm not having it. Wukong pulled out his golden staff and fought his way from the horse stable monitor to the southern heavenly gate before returning to Huaguo Mountain.